Whistle and Verse, and I'm here today to review The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk, which is out October 13th. I received an advanced reader's copy from Erewhon Books in exchange for a fair and honest review. Thank you to Erewhon Books for that. All opinions are my own. So The Midnight Bargain is a fantasy romance. I've basically been describing it as Pride and Prejudice meets the Bartimaeus Trilogy. It's about this woman, Beatrice Claiborne, who lives in Chasland, which is very similar to Regency England. And in this world, people practice magic by summoning spirits. Spirits basically miss being corporal and being able to do like physical things. So they often want to eat, they want to see things, they want to do certain things. Like they'll trade magical favors for inhabiting the sorcerer's body and having certain experiences. And this is a world where practicing magic is very prestigious and women are warned away from it. Basically, the worry is that while a woman is pregnant, if she summons a spirit, the spirit will take over the body of her child and then be reborn that way. And because the spirits have very little impulse control and a lot of power, it wreaks a lot of devastation. And that's sort of the rationale for why women aren't allowed to practice magic. And Beatrice is really chafing at this. She's a powerful sorceress and she loves it a lot. But also she kind of needs to be married. She can't own property really on her own or support herself very well on her own. Also, her father's accumulated a lot of debts, reputation and family honor and all that. So she's looking for a husband very begrudgingly, and then she finds a guy that she actually kind of likes, and that makes it even worse somehow. So in terms of the characters, the main character is Beatrice Claiborne. She's a fun protagonist. I think I enjoyed her the most when she got angry. I think she challenged someone to a fist fight. That only happens once, but still, it's definitely a highlight for me. She's really not good at managing all everyone's social expectations and the niceties that go into courtship and all that, and so she's just kind of struggling. There is the love interest, Ianthe Lavon, who is from the country of Lanandari. There's his sister, Isbetta, who sort of has an uneasy alliance with Beatrice. But basically, most of the people of Chasland are white. The Lanandari are black from the descriptions of them, but it is fantasy, so race as we know it doesn't really exist. And then there's probably my favorite character is Nadi, the luscious spirit of chance, who is the spirit that Beatrice calls on the most. Nadi is just adorable. They're just so excited to be doing the simplest things, and it's really infectious. And I thought it was well played on Polk's part that we have Beatrice trying to navigate this very straight-laced society, and then we have Nadi, who has zero impulse control and all the enthusiasm, basically prodding her to do everything wrong. And Nadi doesn't care about manners. Nadi might or might not hex some people who get on Beatrice's wrong side. Nadi was just great. And I really like the relationship that developed between Beatrice and Nadi throughout the book. I thought it was well played on Polk's part as well, that Nadi's desire for certain experiences leads Beatrice to go outside of her comfort zone, and it led to several meet-cutes and awkward situations that Beatrice has to get herself out of. In terms of the magic system in the book, I compared it to the Bartimaeus Trilogy just because of the summoning and the being very careful about the deals that you make. It doesn't draw on the lore around Jinn or anything like that. I really like the underground secrecy aspect of it. There is sort of the obvious respected institute, the chapter house, where the male sorcerers practice. And then there's sort of this underground covert system of sorceresses, and they have to hide their grimoires in fantasy books and travel books, and there's a lot of codes that you have to use to decode, once you even get the book. In terms of the romance, it wasn't quite for me. I was sort of excited to test this out, because for a while I really wasn't feeling romance, and then I sort of found some authors that I really liked, and then I found that I really enjoyed romantic subplots in Jemison stuff. So I was excited to read a romance that was set in a fantasy world. Something that was a little bit more like equal melding of the two. Like if you like the pining, you like the partner dances and all the social maneuvering that happens in Austen novels, then you're gonna like it. But for me, I'm realizing that I prefer the sex scenes in the romance to the actual romancing. So this is all about the romancing. So if you really like that, then you're gonna enjoy this. And in terms of the love interest, Ianthe, he sort of felt like a prop to me for the larger themes that happen in this book around gender equity. The Lanandari have more progressive ideas around what women are capable of, but there is still that misogyny that's happening. And I felt like he's supposed to be someone who is still going to be like a trap for Beatrice, like a dead end in terms of her sorcery career, but also someone who's going to seem like a less terrible trap than like the other men who are courting her. And so I didn't really feel like I got a bead on him as like a person. To me, I was just always very aware of him as how he served the plot. I think if you like get more immersed in the world and are like more into it than I was, then you probably wouldn't be as bothered. So in terms of the commentary that happens, there's a lot in here about how misogyny opens women up to abuse in their family relationships. There's some really striking scenes in here where we see these women who are powerful sorceresses have to ask their husbands for permission to do stuff that they could easily do on their own, and it's really sad. It was really stood out to me why these women made the choice to marry that they did, and also that what they were giving up wasn't really a luxury, because in Chastland, if you're lucky, your husband is sympathetic and will like listen to you and stuff, but like there's always that risk that shows up in being reliant on someone's sympathy and being reliant on someone's goodwill to take care of yourself. There's a lot of commentary on how social traditions that pop up, like restricting what women can do, or the technologies and products like available to ease their lives, are more focused on like men's convenience. As I mentioned earlier, the Lanandari aren't really a focus of this book, but it was refreshing to see the Lanandari are more progressive, almost unilaterally more progressive than Chastland. It was nice that the Black fantasy characters weren't portrayed as primitive, and the Lanandari are seen as equal. Like, they're seen as potential equal trading partners. I didn't feel like the Lanandari were exoticized or fetishized. In general, I think I would have liked more hints at what life is like for queer people. Like, I could extrapolate because it is stated that your worth is really tied back to your ability to have a child, but it would have been nice if it was like a 1 or 2 sentence explicit statement. So that was my review of The Midnight Bargain. I enjoyed it. The descriptions are beautiful. I felt like the book was very well written in that way, and I really thought the pacing was consistent. It picks up a lot towards the end, but like I really felt the stakes of Beatrice's decisions. I felt like it was pretty smooth sailing throughout. I didn't really feel like it ever stalled out. So yeah, on the whole, I enjoyed it. If you're looking for like a story with pining, you want the happily ever after, but you also want something a little more flair, a little more magic, then this is a book for you. Please tell me what you think of my review. Have you read a lot of fantasy romances? Because I think it is something I'm trying to get more into. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already and you would like to stay up to date with me and my bookish activities, please do so. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.